At the moment in the UK, it feels like now is our time to be working across disciplines. It seems like people are less worried about what label art form you're working on, and people are understanding the importance of digital, both in terms of communicating with audiences, but also in terms of emerging art forms and early stage ideas and using digital within your performance as another tool in the box. I joined Watershed about 7 years ago now. I was at the Cheltenham Festival of Science before that, where I was organising the UK's biggest science festival, which brought together artists and scientists. So I joined Watershed on a project with Hewlett-Packard, where we created the first films that were rendered in the cloud. And what I learned was that we really liked funding people to do projects in groups, because that shared experience and their ability to talk about what works and what doesn't seemed to raise the bar for everyone and make everyone do better. So iShed supports people in a number of ways. Sometimes we give them a residency in the Pervasive Media Studio. We also have open calls for artist residencies, and we also run something called the Sandbox programme. The people and companies who are in the Pervasive Media Studio are in here because the ideas that they're researching and developing will benefit from a lot of other brilliant minds around them. We bring together artists, creative industries, companies, tech startups and academics, and we help them to work together on really early stage ideas that might not get support or funding elsewhere. So some of them are working on their own business ideas, they're working with clients, but they all devote a bit of their time to R&D, and increasingly those ideas get shared and people work across companies and products as well as on their own thing. And again, that's the idea of bringing people together around a theme and funding them together, but making sure they share their journeys around how they can use emergent technologies in their practice, and share those journeys also with the public and the wider sector, so that we don't continually make the same mistakes and we can grow on other people's brilliant work. A lot of people think about Minority Report when they think about pervasive media, and an idea that media is everywhere and it's built into the city and it's coming at you all the time. And that's the opposite of what we would like to do. We'd like to roll out kind of rich media experiences which use the networks of the city but give you something valuable which improves the offer, which augments the city rather than distracts and bombards you. So Theatre Sandbox funded Prototype Theatre to make a piece called Fortnight Project, and they made that with Bristol Old Vic Theatre. And their idea was they wanted to create a 2-week exploration of the city to get people to think about the city they lived in, how they moved around that city, how they met people in the city, and what role technology plays in the kind of daily experience. So it started with a letter, an old-fashioned letter, which invited you to take part in an experience which would unfold through text message, email, through story and conversation. And every day it would ask you to do a different task in the city. And you were given a beautiful little badge which contained an RFID card in it. And every time you went and did part of the Fortnight project, you touched your brooch to a reader and it would know who you are and would start to be able to tell things about what you were doing and how you were experiencing the project. We've recognised that working internationally is a key focus for us. If we believe that a kind of diversity of people and perspective makes projects better, then an international element of that has to be factored in. We want people both to come to Bristol to make what we're doing and to make our community richer, but we also want to project our talent and our ideas out to the world. But the world's a pretty big place, and that can be kind of daunting if you don't really know where to start and if you haven't got meaningful relationships. So British Council have both challenged us and supported us and helped us understand where we would like to work and where we want to make a difference, and have made that possible in a way that I think will add up to something rather than being quite scattered. The Playable City sprint took place over a week in the studio, and we wanted to do something where we could actively bring artists and creatives together from both Britain and overseas, all from different disciplines, who worked together for a week, who brainstormed, who played on the idea of a piece of work for a playable city. A playable city is a term which is up for definition. What we mean is an open city, and a city where people feel empowered and are given permission to play with public spaces, to reimagine public services, to kind of get involved with the infrastructure of the city and to use it as though it was theirs for creative purposes. At the end of the week, we had a showcase where we invited loads of people from the city in, from the British Council, press and other artists. And what was produced was amazing. There was a radio station speedboat that went round the harbour. There was an idea for an iPhone app which traced love in the city. And there was a project called Bike Tag, which is kind of part social network, part game, where a light comes up on your bike if you pass anyone else who's playing. We were totally astounded by what they were able to produce in the week and the emotional kind of intensity of the journey they'd gone on. The Playable City idea is now becoming a really key part of iShed's work for the next couple of years. We're talking to British Council in Recife, in Brazil, as part of the Transform project to do a major digital festival which focuses on networking talent from Brazil and talent from the UK around this theme of Playable City, bringing artists together, bringing cultural organisations together, and ending up hopefully with some tangible ideas that we can actually make and tour around the world.